Go on then. For the 2024 season, who have you got? Lando or Maximilian Verstappen? You've got Lando, right? Be honest. We can have a very grown-up conversation here. I'm telling you, most people are saying Lando now. Why? Because he's got momentum behind him. Because Lando Norris is a brilliant peddler even. Some say he's the next one up, the best of the next generation after Maximilian Verstappen. He's really, really good. Racecraft settings, pace for days, qualifying pace to make Jack Piastri on occasions look slow. You see what he did to the rest of the field at Zandvoort, Max Verstappen's home Grand Prix. The dude was incredible. 30 seconds down the road, as near as makes no difference. He will be one day, a god-tier peddler. He's got the look of a champion, some say. And now, two, the car of a champion. Because if momentum is a thing, as it is in the Wonder Fs, Lando Norris has the most important ingredient, being a car capable of winning races and therefore championships. Some have said that he's a bit of a Debbie Downer, Mr. Glass half empty, but he seems to have his arms around that now. So surely Lando Norris, it's his championship to lose. He's got over the fence as far as his first win. No longer are we talking about Lando no wins. He surely is the favourite, and the bookmakers don't disagree. Before Lando Norris, they gave him a probability of 20%. Now it's nearer 40%. Potentially Lando Norris has the whip hand though. Potentially this championship in 2024 is his and McLaren's to lose. Lest we forget that Andreas Stella and Zach Brown had ifed and butted around implementing for team orders. When there is stakes this high as far as a championship, what you don't want to do is seize defeat from the jaws of victory, as did Ron Dennis in 2007, giving away that championship, which was Lewis's and Alonso's to lose to one onrushing Kimi Raikkonen for fear of instituting team orders and cheesing off one of his drivers. That is no longer McLaren's lot. Finally, though some may say it's too late, 52 points is the difference. Surely with 6 races to go, they can overcome that. It's not an impossible task for Lando Norris, but I would see you that and raise you this. I cannot wallow in the very murky waters of recency bias. There is a chap called Maximilian Verstappen, and some say that he might be the next generational driver on the grid after Sir Lewis, Carl, Davidson, Hamilton retires. Why? Because we've seen how that dude got down in 2021. And if F1 maths is a thing in which you can be invested, then that dude has all the minerals, all the racecraft, all the speed in absolute terms, the ability to take a step back and see the F1 wood for the F1 trees, to manage for his strategy in real time. He learned that via a crash course that was 2021 racing, one Sir Lewis, Carl, Davidson, Hamilton, and that has to mean something as we go into the final 6 races of the 2024 championship. There is a man between Messrs Norris and Verstappen who has been here before, who has the composure and temperament, who realises the commitment requisite to win yourself a championship under these circumstances. And that dude, of course, is Maximilian Verstappen. Listen, there's a lot going on at Red Bull. We know it. Loads going on in the background, a plethora, a deluge even of talent that's walked out the door. Please see Messrs Wheatley, Fallows, Marshall, Newey too. Loads of people just walking out the door. Courtenay as well. And there has to be a downstream, downside impact of that. Such god-tier talent as an Adrian Newey, the last airbender. They don't walk out the door and nothing happen. You can debate the lead time each and every single time, but you'd have to argue, you'd be disingenuous even not to, that Red Bull are a poorer team for having lost those key personnel. That's got to matter, because Max has begged that all that Red Bull need to do is keep the key personnel, the people that make the car quicker, in order for him to stay through to 2028, the end of his existing contract. So too, as he argued, begged Christian Horner to maintain a semblance of harmony. Jos Verstappen once upon a time said if Christian Horner stays, that team will implode, and it looks like that's what's happening in real time. Of course, there was PA allegation gate. There is rancor and beef between father of Max, Jos Verstappen and Christian Horner. What are we doing here? It is chaos. But yet and still, Max has performed at a level that not too many peddlers in history have. Please see Imola, Spain. Please see Canada this year. This is when you start to see who Max Verstappen really is. Why? Because the naysayers said that this dude couldn't handle adversity, that he's a quick car merchant, an Adrian Newey benefactor. Well, how about Imola and Spain and Canada this year? Surely those are your case in points, your proof positive that this dude can do nothing if not handle adversity. I don't know why people ever said that on the back of 2021. You heard Max Verstappen at the age of 22 years old going into Abu Dhabi talking about how nervous he was, saying that he couldn't do this every season if it was this level of pressure. And those naysayers, the Max Verstappen detractors, used that to weaponize against it, even underline their case surrounding adversity. But no, this dude, he carries on, right? He has shown this year the ability to compartmentalize for these issues, to get his head down. The FIA have victimised him, tried to make a mug out of him, done the old shame thing, Cersei Game of Thrones settings, make an example out of him as far as expletive gate. Yeah, and still, Maximilian Verstappen looks like a champion, in my humble opinion, because he's shown that he has the mettle to crack on, to maintain his focus, not because of those things, despite them. I would argue that Maximilian Verstappen has already won the 2024 championship, and he'd already won it because of Imola, because of Spain, because of Canada. Yeah, there was a cheeky DNF in Australia. Yeah, in Miami, you can argue that he got shafted by the racing gods because of the fortuitous safety car timing, which of course he contributed to, which ultimately led to Lando Norris's maiden victory. Of course, he made a cheeky mistake in Monaco qualifying, and that was his podium that he lost. Of course, you can argue that in Hungary, it wasn't his best showing. Baku too, being outpaced by one Checo Perez, man known as the Mexican Minister of Defense. Canada or Austria too, not Max Verstappen's greatest moment. But since then, you can argue that he's been absolutely god tier, doing exactly what he needs to. And only the discerning eye amongst us will notice, because the car's not great, is it? The RB20 no longer is the car that he can win races with, but notwithstanding that, he's putting in these championship winning performances each and every single time. Listen, what we're talking about here is Jenson Button in 2009, right? But better than that. I will see you that and I will raise you this. What we're talking about here is Alain Prost in 86 settings. Being able to take a car not capable of winning races and championships back to the mountaintop, and that requires metal and god tier level racecraft and the ability to overcome adversity, does it not? This is 2017, 2018 Lewis Hamilton settings, overcoming a charging Ferrari in the hands of Sebastian Vettel. Indeed, you can argue, I put forth my supposition this way. Max Verstappen looks like a champion. He has his shoulders back. He has the ability to compartmentalise for the not insubstantial foibles and rancor currently disadvantaging him at the balls that are red. Max wants to enjoy his life, and he's exhibiting the composure and the philosophical thesis to do so. Let me put forth this way. I think Max Verstappen has already won the 2024 championship. Why? Well, because of Red Bull's foibles going on in the background, he's still performing, not because of those, but despite them. Let me put forth my supposition this way. There is a driver at Red Bull Racing, the house that Christian Horner built, and he is the next generational talent. He gets his head down. He's super fast in absolute terms. His race savvy is god tier. You've seen him in his qualifying laps. He's super difficult to beat as an entity. And for the 2024 championship, there is a man at Red Bull, and he is going to be difficult to beat. Super, super difficult. Borderline impossible for one Lando Norris. Again, composure epitomised. He's born to do it. There is a man at Red Bull who has all the requisite minerals to become a champion, a four-time back-to-back champion in 2024. That chap ladies and gentlemen, has a name, and his name is Maximilian Verstappen. What are we doing here?